Welcome to Weekly News Highlights. Under the auspices of the Minister of Oil and Minister of Electricity and Water, Dr. Khalid Al-Fadl, the first Innovation and Excellence Awards were held at the Radisson Blu Hotel. The awards were presented to employees of the Ministry of Electricity and Water who created innovative ideas to help improve both the ministry and Kuwait. More with our reporter, Mohammed Al-Anezi.
Under the auspices of the Minister of Oil and Minister of Electricity and Water, Dr. Khalid Al-Fadl, the first Excellence and Innovation Awards took place at the Radisson Blu Hotel. The ceremony began with a speech by the Minister, where he highlighted the importance of establishing this award ceremony. The host of the ceremony then took the stage to present the different winners and participants of the program, and they were rewarded for coming in first and second place in each category.
We are here to celebrate or to compete in the Innovation Excellence Award. This is the first time the ministry do such a competition. I think it's a healthy competition, and I believe we can win it this year. And for the award itself, it's a method from the ministry to encourage all the employees to show their creativity.
The award ceremony is the first of its kind and is part of the Vision Future Achieved, which was established last year. Employees of the ministry participated in the program, which was sponsored by many different local companies. The awards were split into 3 categories: engineering, business administration, and information technology, as they cover all aspects of the ministry. The idea of this award is to improve the working environment and encouraging participation of employees to create innovative ideas that can be implemented in real life.
Iraqi security sources said a rocket hit a base in northern Iraq that hosts U.S. forces but caused no casualties. The base, known as K-1, near the city of Kirkuk, is where a U.S. civilian contractor was killed in December in a similar attack that Washington blamed on Iran-backed militias. Officials said U.S. warplanes had scrambled and were soaring overhead shortly after the attack. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the rocket attack. The Diagnostic Radiology Conference was launched at the Jabir Al-Ahmed Center under the slogan of Working in X-ray for Emergency Cases, held under the patronage of the Minister of Health, Dr. Basil Al-Sabah. A group of professors and consultants in the field of X-ray examination in general and emergency cases in particular will participate in the conference. Hadil Fahd has more.
The Ministry of Health organized a 3-day radiology conference under the slogan Examination of Emergencies by X-ray, with the participation of a group of experts from the United States of America, Canada, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia.
Today I have pleasure and honor to represent His Excellency Minister Sheikh Dr. Basil Ahmed Al-Sabah in the opening ceremony of Kuwait Radiology Conference, especially for emergency situations. This conference will be happening over a few days here in the state of Kuwait in Sheikh Jabir Cultural Center. We are honored to have many guests from many countries, European and North American countries. They are going to give us lectures and symposium in addition to workshop highlighting the importance of having express or emergency radiology service in the emergency department.
This conference is very important to us. It talk about the specialization which we do in the market here. This is an emergency radiology. The emergency radiology is a very important aspect of the radiology function or the radiology activity. So we manufacture equipment for the radiology emergency.
The program includes a distinguished scientific program for doctors, as well as training, includes examination of emergency radiology cases.
The United Nations said more than 800,000 Syrians, mostly women and children, have fled their homes during a Russian-backed Syrian military campaign to clear the opposition in northwest Syria since December. The exodus is expected to continue, with thousands of people on the move as whole towns and communities flee to the safety of areas near the Turkish border. UN officials say the region is on the brink of a humanitarian catastrophe. Those on the run in Idlib and adjoining Aleppo province are joining close to 400,000 people who fled earlier bouts of fighting to the safety of camps near the Turkish border. According to the United Nations, the latest offensive has brought the military campaign closer to a heavily populated northern Idlib along the border, where nearly 3 million people are trapped. In a related development, Russia's foreign ministry called on Turkey to refrain from making provocative statements about events in Syria amid rising tensions over the Syrian province of Idlib. Hosted by the Public Authority for Sports, the Aquabike Grand Prix opener round kicks off in Kuwait for the first time with the attendance of international champions competing intensively at Marina waterfront. Yusuf Al Abdelrazak, Kuwait's 4-time champion and Guinness World Record holder, starts strong alongside regional champions with a supreme performance in the runabout GP1. More with Yusuf Salim.
The World Championship Circuit Grand Prix of Kuwait opener round for the runabout GP1 division witnesses intensive waves from both male and female competitors racing to victory.
The championship is so nice. It's so nice to see participants from all over the world in Kuwait for the first time. It's honestly very nicely organized, and Kuwait did a great job. This is so good for Kuwait. Yeah, and I would love to see more events like this in Kuwait. Honestly, everyone loves it. Everyone's enjoying their time.
I am the first woman in GP1 category. That is so incredible, and that is the idea that I have, is to say to the world that the women, we can do whatever that he love. So today we are already 2 women in the category, so I love to learn a lot every single race, and obviously in this beautiful place that is Kuwait.
This is my personally second time in Kuwait. I like Kuwait very much. It's nice to be back. Last time we were in Failaka Island. I think we have more comfortable surroundings here. Nice sandy beach. It is a little bit colder than we expected. I never knew it was so cold in Kuwait. That's a bit of a surprise for us. But yeah, it's our first day today. We've set up, we run the qualifying. Tomorrow we get into the proper heats, and we look forward to some good racing. And it's good to be at the home spot of a 4-time world champion, Abdelrazak. So I think, we've been very welcome here in Kuwait. And it's our, how do you say, temenni, we wish that we'll be back many more times, whether it's with aquabike or with other sports.
Spectacular performance from elite international riders with outstanding results, and with the participation of many organizations, provided safety measures taken for crowds enjoying the competition till the 15th of February.
National philanthropic associations, namely the Kuwait Red Crescent Society, have pursued humanitarian activities abroad, but some attention has been shifted to aiding needy families in Kuwait. Following the guidelines of His Highness the Emir, more philanthropic tasks were performed last week, coinciding with the State of Kuwait's National Days celebration. The Kuwait Red Cross Society, one of the top national relief organizations, has turned attention to the domestic level, intensifying efforts to help children of low-income families, the handicapped, the sick, and the widows. A senior administration official said that the United States has reached an agreement with the Taliban on a week-long reduction of violence that could lead to U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan, while cautioning that the Taliban needed to honor commitments for the accord to stick. The official also said that the 7-day reduction of violence agreement would take effect very soon, and it would cover the entire country of Afghanistan, including Afghan forces. The US military would also monitor violence levels to verify whether the Taliban was honoring its commitments. With the presence of the Secretary General of the Supreme Council for Planning and Development, Dr. Khalid Al-Mahdi, a team was organized to follow up the development plan in El Zur refinery. Within the field visits by the development plan follow-up team, they visited the El Zur refinery to see what was done in it to compare it with the timetables for implementing the strategic project included in the development plan. Hadil Fahed has more.
Within the field visits by the development plan follow-up team, they visited the El Zur refinery to see what was done in it, to compare it with the timetable for implementing the strategic projects included in the development plan.
KBIC is one of the iconic companies been established lately as a part of the Kuwait National Development Plan. They have major projects, including the Zur refinery, which is one of the largest, is an iconic refinery project, and also they have the LNG, which is the liquefied natural gas facility. Beside that, it is integrated with a petrochemical facility. What makes this project very important for the national economy, it's actually been addressed in the national plan as a part of the diversified economy pillar, plus its impact on the sustainable development pillar, sustainable environment pillar. What this project with Zur refinery is actually producing what we call a low sulfur eco products, which are environmentally compliant and compliant with the international requirement. Plus, it will feed the power station in Kuwait, which is roughly in the 225,000 barrel for fueling the power station in Kuwait with a very low sulfur fuel. Currently, the content of sulfur is high, which has been used by the power station. So, what the main purpose of this project is to provide these power station with a much lower content of sulfur.
The Zur refinery project is one of the projects and falls under the pillar of a sustainable, diversified economy within the PACE diversification program.
The head of Libya's internationally recognized government said Libya will face a financial crisis and a budget deficit in 2020 due to the blockade of oil terminals and oil fields by groups loyal to the eastern-based commander Khalifa Haftar. Libya's oil output has fallen sharply since January the 18th, when the blockade began. State-run National Oil Corporation, or the NOC, said crude output had dropped to 163,684 barrels per day. The blockade is part of a conflict between the eastern-based forces loyal to military commander Khalifa Haftar and rival forces aligned with the internationally recognized government in the capital, Tripoli. The NOC warned earlier that oil output would eventually fall to 72,000 barrels per day if the blockade continued, from about 1.2 million barrels a day earlier. Turkey's foreign minister, Mevlut Cavusoglu, said he told his Russian counterpart that attacks in Syria's northwestern Idlib region must stop immediately and that a lasting ceasefire had to be achieved. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference, Cavusoglu said Turkey wanted to resolve matters with Russia over Idlib through diplomacy, but should diplomacy fall through, it would take the necessary steps. Cavusoglu also said he met with some U.S. lawmakers at the conference, saying Washington should work to improve its relations with Ankara either way, despite current tensions between Turkey and Russia. Meanwhile, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan has said his military will drive back Syrian forces if they do not withdraw out of Idlib by the end of the month. Flights have been cancelled and the army drafted in as Britain prepares for Storm Dennis, with the authorities warning of heavy rain and flooding in parts of England. According to the Environment Agency, a total of 15 flood warnings are in place in England, with Storm Dennis expected to bring very heavy rain, flooding, and disruption to parts of the country. It comes barely a week after Storm Ciara caused disruption to transport and left thousands of homes without power. The army is being deployed to help in Yorkshire as residents prepare for the storm. The Ministry of Oil launched a new logo for its latest campaign to digitalize ministry services. The goal of this transformative campaign is to improve efficiency, quality of service, and optimize the use of resources. Hadil Fahad has the story.
With the aim of enhancing the efficiency of the service provided, upgrading their quality and achieving the optimal use of resources to elevate the confidence of dealers in the Ministry of Oil to raise the quality of the services provided. The Ministry of Oil launched its new strategy for digital transformation and mechanization of its business electronically under the slogan, the Program of Transition to Electronic Services.
Today we launched what we call the electronic transformation or the automation for the Ministry of Oil. We're proud to say that the Ministry of Oil today has become completely digital, and all transactions related to employees, staffs, when it comes to their fingerprints, when it comes to their sick leaves and other leaves as well, will completely become electronic. This is something that we're so proud of, that it happened within a very small or limited time, a few months of time since Sheikh Namir become the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Oil. He started taking my direct instructions to convert the ministry into a completely digitalized ministry. We hope that with this digitalization, the ministry will come to a completely different era and will be able to communicate with the oil sector as well as other ministries and authorities in Kuwait with ease and with higher quality.
This event comes within the framework of supporting the achievement of the goals of the smart government and utilizing the latest technologies to reach the transformation at the national level, in line with the vision of a new Kuwait 2035.
Palestinian Authority spokesperson Nabil Abu Rubaina said that President Mahmoud Abbas said at a meeting with Israeli journalists in Ramallah that the authority would be ready to sign a peace agreement within 2 weeks if Israel allowed the establishment of a Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. After U.S. President Donald Trump unveiled his long-awaited Middle East peace plan late last month, President Abbas threatened to stop security coordination with Israel. Nevertheless, Abu Rubaina said that the security coordination with Israel continues normally, saying, "We want to confirm that we are fighting terrorism, but this will not last forever." Syrian regime forces made significant advances in the country's northwestern Aleppo province, seizing most of the rebel-held region a day before a new round of talks between Turkey and Russia on the escalation in the area. Turkey has urged Russia to stop attacks in the region, warning it would use military power to drive back the Syrian regime forces unless they withdraw by the end of the month. However, the Russian warplanes mounted heavy airstrikes in the Aleppo province, bombing towns including Anadan, which was later seized by Syrian regime forces. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani said that his country will never hold talks with the United States while under pressure, adding that Tehran's help was essential in establishing security in the Middle East. Relations between the United States and Iran have been at a boiling point for almost 2 years, since US President Donald Trump abandoned a 2015 pact between Iran and world powers under which Tehran had accepted to curb its nuclear program in return for the lifting of sanctions. Trump has adopted a policy of maximum pressure to force Tehran to negotiate a broader deal that further curbs Iran's nuclear work and ending its missile program. The 12th International Invention Fair of the Middle East kicked off, marking one of the largest specialized invention fairs in the Middle East. The 4-day fair is an important opportunity for investors to show their work at one of the most important exhibitions for international inventions. Adil Fahed has more.
Simulated human factor machines, innovative mini-games. These are some of the distinguished exhibits presented by the 12th Invention Exhibition in the Middle East, which has been opened to meet inventors with investors.
I think science is that what we all need, because that's the way to look into the future. And I'm very grateful for Kuwait for doing just this, giving an opportunity for all the inventors to show what they do. And I think we should all congratulate them for doing just that, what they do, inventing something which will help us to propel us into the future. I'm here since half a year, so for me it's the first time at this fair. I wanted to get a personal impression of how it looks like, and it looks wonderful.
About this is the first time I come here, it's the first time I come Kuwait. I think it's very interesting exposition. We find this exposition by internet. We're trying to take use of this opportunity for give to know our invent. I present two inventors. One is to produce sheet plates for the ceiling with concrete and fibers, special fibers.
The exhibition of inventions has become a Kuwaiti flame, where the great inventors from all over the world gathered on Kuwait soil to exchange ideas and experiences.
Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos will commit $10 billion to fund scientists, activists, nonprofits, and other groups fighting to protect the environment and counter the effects of climate change. Cutting emissions will be challenging for Amazon, as the e-commerce company delivers 10 billion items a year and has a massive transportation and data center footprint that leads to criticism from within its own workforce. Bezos, the world's richest man, is among a growing list of billionaires to dedicate substantial funds to battling the impact of global warming. The Bezos Earth Fund will begin issuing grants this summer as part of the initiative. Afghanistan's acting interior minister said an agreement between the Taliban and US forces to reduce violence will come into force within the next 5 days. Last week, a senior US administration official said negotiations with Taliban representatives in Qatar had resulted in an agreement in principle for a week-long reduction of violence. Earlier, Taliban fighters attacked Afghan government forces, manning a checkpoint in the northern province of Kunduz, leaving 19 security personnel killed. The head of a leading hospital in China's central city of Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak, died of the disease, while South Korea announced an economic emergency and Singapore Airlines slashed flights. The number of new daily coronavirus cases in mainland China fell below 2,000 for the first time since January. However, the World Health Organization warned that although Chinese data appear to show a decline in new cases, any apparent trend must be interpreted very cautiously. The European Union Chamber of Commerce in China said the world's pharmacies may face a shortage of antibiotics and other drugs if the outbreak cannot be resolved soon. Service Hero, the region's only consumer-powered customer satisfaction index, recently awarded the winners of its Customer Satisfaction Index, or CSI, for the year 2019 at the Sheikh Jaber Al Ahmed Cultural Center. Titled Enabling a Heroic Service Culture, the seminar included a series of thought-provoking panel discussions and keynote addresses featuring a prestigious lineup of speakers. Ghanwa Jabouri has more.
Hero Awards 2019 celebrated the companies that delivered the best performance in terms of service excellence. The top 3 winning companies have been nominated in each of the 18 industry categories in the Customer Satisfaction Index based on customers' feedback derived from a total of 22,514 validated assessments. A winner from each category was awarded during the prestigious ceremony.
Being a member of this Service Hero for the last 9 years, and we always achieve excellence. Service Hero is an organization which kept everybody in their toes. Every company, every hospital want to show that they are going for the excellence. And tonight is a very important night. We're expecting to win being the best hospital in Kuwait. And that will declare as 10 years of excellence in the health service.
Addressing distinguished guests at the event, Fatin Abu Ghazala, president of Service Hero, said, "In today's world, consumers have high expectations, not only for products and services, but also for all aspects of the customer journey. And therefore, it is increasingly important for businesses to nurture and promote a culture of service excellence within their organizations."
We've been running a National Customer Satisfaction Index now for 10 years, and the goal of the index is to empower companies and consumers to get better service. For companies, we provide the data through the index of where they rank next compared to their peers and what trends we see for them based on customer feedback. For consumers, we empower them by allowing them to see where different brands in Kuwait rank in each of the industries and what other customers have said about them with a star rating and reviews for that. So our platform is designed to empower both two very different entities, and today we're celebrating 300,000 assessments that we've collected over the years, 22,000 validated. For each year we do several thousand, and we've seen customer satisfaction stay at the same level, but we've seen consumers' expectations increase.
Service Hero adheres to the principles of the European Society of Opinion and the Market Research and is overseen by an independent advisory council. The advisory council includes the Director of Research from the American Customer Satisfaction Index, as well as academic and independent members from leading private universities and established companies, such as the Boston Consulting Group and Noor Investment.
At a camp near South Sudan's capital, soldiers marched alongside ex-rebels who had arrived a day earlier and did not yet have uniforms, as the former warring sides hastily formed a joint force to protect VIPs, a key plank of a 2018 peace deal. The agreement ended years of civil war in the oil-rich East African nation, but both sides blame each other for stalling the process of forming a long-delayed unity government. In a sign of momentum from both sides to meet a deadline for forming the government, more than 500 men loyal to former rebel leader Riek Machar arrived at the camp. The U.S. Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, said it could take months to resolve a dispute between Ethiopia and Egypt over a massive dam on the Nile River. The U.S. Treasury Department stepped in last year to facilitate talks between Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan, another downstream country, after Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi reached out to U.S. President Donald Trump. Earlier, the latest rounds of talks concluded in Washington, and officials have said they want to reach a deal by the end of February. That's it for tonight. Join us again next week for more weekly news highlights.